Ava, a kind-hearted palace maid, serves Duchess Marabella. Neither knows the truth. Ava is actually the Duchess's long-lost daughter, who was stolen at birth by the Duchess advisor, Hendrik. Little Princess Olivia, with her strange gift of warning against danger, becomes Ava's closest friend and protector. Love grows, secrets rise, lies crumble. When Ava discovers a birthmark that proves she is royalty, Hendrik hunts her to silence the truth. A royal story of truth louder than fear. Thank you for sticking around with me, my wonderful story family. If you're already hooked in for today's story and ready to enjoy it, click subscribe and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because tomorrow I will be giving you another story just as interesting as this one, and you don't want to miss it. Now, let us begin. The palace floors were cold beneath Ava's fingers. Every sunrise, her day began with a bucket and a brush. No fancy shoes, no soft silk, only hard work. She wasn't just a maid here. She was the girl with no past and no family. Yet every time Ava looked at the grand staircase, she felt a strange pull, as if her footsteps belonged up there, among royalty. Servants often whispered behind her back, "That girl is different." Ava tried to ignore it, but a quiet storm stirred inside her chest. She had been found as a newborn at the palace gate, wrapped in royal linen, wrapped in mystery. No matter how hard she tried to fit into the shadows, something kept pushing her toward the light. Late that evening, as she cleaned the hallway near the Duchess' private chamber, Ava paused. Behind the heavy gold doors lived the woman who ruled nations with a single cold glance. People said, since losing her baby years ago, the Duchess' heart froze. Ava pressed her palm over her chest. Why did she feel connected to a woman who didn't even know she existed? Her answer was coming, faster than she could ever imagine. The Duchess Eleanor commanded respect the way oceans command tides. Wherever she stepped, the floor seemed to bow beneath her heels. Her gowns shimmered like moonlight, stitched with diamonds only royalty could afford. People admired her beauty and feared her presence all at once. Her power was legendary, her loneliness was hidden, her heart forever wounded. The palace whispered a tragedy that time refused to erase. Years ago, the Duchess had given birth to a child, a beautiful baby girl. A miracle she waited her whole life for. On the very night the kingdom celebrated the little princess's arrival, darkness struck. The child vanished from her cradle before her first sunrise. The Duchess screamed, searched, promised gold and kingdoms for a clue. Nothing came. After months of tears and torture, she shut her heart to the world. Love became dangerous, hope became a weakness, and motherhood became a nightmare she never wished to remember. Ava, unseen in her maid's uniform, watched the Duchess from the corner of the hall. She always tried not to stare too long, afraid she might get caught. Though today something felt different. As the Duchess walked past with her guards, Ava noticed sadness buried behind those royal eyes, like a candle trying to survive a storm. The Duchess paused suddenly. Her gaze pulled toward Ava as if an invisible thread connected their souls. Ava's breath hitched, their eyes locked for one fragile moment. Hazel, the same shade, the same fire beneath the surface. A flicker of confusion crossed the Duchess' stern face. She frowned sharply and turned away, almost as if she feared the truth her heart tried to recognize. Ava stood frozen. Why did it feel like that woman saw pieces of her? Why did the Duchess' presence feel warm and painful at once? The head maid yanked Ava's sleeve. "You! Stop staring! The Duchess must never see your face again, do you hear me?" Ava lowered her head, cheeks burning. Shame and hurt. Why wasn't she allowed near the Duchess? As Ava walked away, she passed a tall man with shadow-black clothing and eyes that glittered like knives. Lord Hendrik, the Duchess' most trusted advisor. His lips curved into a dangerous smile. His gaze followed Ava. Notice the secret pendant beneath her uniform. Recognize the royal crest engraved on it. He whispered so only the walls could hear. So the lost child survived. His fingers tightened around the cane he carried. No one must ever learn the truth. Not now. Not ever. A storm quietly awakened inside the palace, and Ava was standing in the very heart of it. Night draped itself over the palace, sprinkling the halls with moonlight. Ava remained awake long after the other maids drifted to sleep. Her hands still trembled. The Duchess looked at her today. Really looked. A pull inside her heart wouldn't stay quiet anymore. That invisible force led her to the forbidden wing of the palace. The air there carried a different kind of silence, one filled with memories that refused to die. Ava knew she could lose her job for even stepping here. Maybe worse. Still, her feet continued. She reached the Duchess's private chamber. Giant doors carved with gold vines, a lock meant to keep secrets from the world. Lucky for Ava, the door hadn't shut completely earlier, just a tiny gap, just enough for the curious. The room looked exactly how a queen's sorrow would look. Everything is beautiful, everything untouched, everything is lonely. Ava didn't know where to look first. Silks, jewels, portraits of royal ancestors staring down at her. Her eyes landed on a glass case lit by a single beam of moonlight. Inside it, a necklace, a breathtaking piece of jewelry, shimmering pearls and diamonds wrapped around a tiny golden crest. She stepped closer. Her knees weakened. That symbol, she knew it. She lived with it. Ava reached for the pendant she kept hidden beneath her uniform, a small old necklace she had possessed since the day she was found. Something she believed meant nothing. She placed her pendant beside the glass. Same crest, same curves, same royal mark. Her heart thundered. Tears stung her eyes. This can't be. She dared to glance around the room again. A portrait on the wall captured the Duchess, holding a baby wrapped in a blanket, embroidered with the same crest. Ava gasped softly and stumbled back, her breath turning to ice. Footsteps echoed outside. Ava panicked. She tried to hide behind a curtain, chest heaving. The door slammed open. Lord Hendrik stepped inside. His shadow was long. His smile was sharp. "You shouldn't be here," he whispered, voice dripping with poison. Ava's pendant slipped from her fingers and clattered against the floor. Hendrik's eyes widened in horror, then fury. He grabbed Ava's wrist with a grip like iron. "You saw too much," he hissed. Ava struggled, fear roaring inside her. Darkness now stalked her every breath. Hold your breath. Part 4 sharpens the knives and heats the emotions. Ava yanked her wrist free and ran. Her heartbeat pounded like boots in a war march. Lord Hendrik's furious shout chased her out of the forbidden wing. She didn't stop until the servant quarters swallowed her into their darkness. Her chest burned, her hands shook. The necklace, the crest, the portrait. It all pointed to one impossible truth. She might be... No. She couldn't even finish the thought. The palace woke with whispers long before the sun. Servants huddled in corners, eyes darting around like frightened birds. The Duchess stayed awake all night again. She cried. I heard her. Don't let her see you idle. She's in one of her moods. And that maid Ava, she's been acting strange. Ava pretended not to hear. Her world was falling apart quietly, like fragile glass cracking beneath silk gloves. Questions drilled against her skull. Why was she brought here? Who hid her identity? Who would try to silence her? While sweeping the courtyard, she cornered the only person she trusted, the old caretaker woman who raised her with scraps of kindness and bread. Please, Ava begged, tell me who I am. The caretaker froze. Her broom slipped from her hand. Tears spilled instantly. As if the question itself was a knife reopening wounds she buried years ago. You were left at the palace gate, she whispered shakily. wrapped in royal cloth. I knew. I always knew you were special. The Duchess baby vanished that same night. Ava's knees softened beneath her. Why didn't she come for me? She doesn't know you exist, the caretaker cried. Someone stole you from her. Someone powerful. Someone who wanted to destroy her heart forever. Ava's mind spiraled. Hendrik's grip, his anger, his threat. Was it him? Ava whispered, chills crawling up her spine. The caretaker didn't answer with words. Her silence screamed louder than truth. Ava looked towards the palace towers where the Duchess lived, her silhouette framed by sorrow. Ava wanted to run to her, to shout the truth, to say, "Mother, it's me." Instead, she lowered her head and continued sweeping as if nothing had changed, because now someone wanted her gone. Eyes watched her. Shadows clung to her path. Night promised danger. Hope promised heartbreak. The palace roared with celebration. Musicians tuned golden violins. Servants rushed like ants carrying trays of glowing wine. Tonight honored the Duchess's victory over her rivals. The kingdom adored her strength. Ava moved quietly among the noise, a simple maid pouring drinks for nobles who never saw her. Though every step she took felt heavier than the last, the Duchess entered the hall with a presence that silenced trumpets. Her gown flowed like a river of jewels, her head held high enough to touch the ceiling. No one dared breathe wrong in her presence. Ava felt the world tilt. Her eyes found the Duchess without permission. Same eyes. Same golden fleck near the iris. Same fire trapped beneath a cold mask. The Duchess reached for her wine. Ava's hand trembled. The glass wobbled. "Careful," the Duchess said softly. That voice, firm yet fragile beneath the surface. Ava froze, glass suspended midair, their eyes locked. Time forgot how to move. The Duchess felt her heartbeat slam against her ribs. A familiar warmth flickered. A memory of tiny fingers curled around hers. A lullaby sung only once. Her gaze softened with shocking tenderness. Even the guards noticed. Ava stepped back in fear of what she saw. Recognition. Longing. A pull neither understood. Hendrik watched from the edge of the hall, clutching his cane hard enough to snap wood. His perfect plan trembled. He could not allow this connection to grow. The Duchess blinked quickly and placed her mask back on. Her voice regained its frost. "Do your job and leave." Ava nodded, clutching the pendant beneath her apron like a lifeline. Yet her heart burned with a question louder than any violin. Why did the Duchess look at her like a mother who had been searching her entire life? Ava stepped away, but the Duchess's eyes followed her. Just for a moment. A moment that changed everything. Absolutely yes. Here comes a rebuilt, longer, deeper, more emotionally intense. Part 6, written in your chosen mix of soft emotion and sharp suspense. Olivia stays in her rightful, important place. The storytelling will keep your viewers glued to their screens. Night wrapped the palace in velvet darkness. Candles trembled with the breeze like nervous witnesses. Ava sat beside Olivia's bed, brushing strands of hair from her tiny face. The little princess slept fitfully, whispering fragments of fear. "Don't let her take Papa, please." Ava's chest tightened. Olivia's nightmares always carried truth. Her warnings saved Valerian once. What if they were cries from fate itself? A sudden knock cracked the silence. "Enter," Ava whispered, expecting another servant. It was Dr. Leopold, the palace physician, a man who always observed more than he spoke, his eyes sharp like scalpels. "Ava," he said quietly, "I need to see the pendant you always hide." Ava froze. "How do you know about that?" He didn't answer with words. He simply held up a faded medical file stamped with the royal crest. "When you were a baby, I was there the night Queen Marabella gave birth. I saw the mark on the child's shoulder. a mark shaped like a crescent moon. Ava's breath caught fire. He stepped closer, gently. "Show me your shoulder." Her fingers trembled as she lowered the collar of her dress. There, under moonlight, the exact birthmark glowed against her skin. Leopold gasped as if seeing a ghost. "You're not just a maid. You were the royal heir, the firstborn daughter." His voice shook. Queen Marabella's true child. Ava felt the ground dissolve beneath her. "My mother?" The word escaped her like a fragile bird finally freed. Dr. Leopold nodded with sorrow in his eyes. "She was told you died in childbirth. Hendrik forced us to lie. He threatened my family if I spoke." Ava covered her mouth, tears falling like they had been waiting years for permission. "So her coldness, her distance, is built on a lie." Leopold nodded again. "And if this truth reaches her, lives will change. Hendrik will kill anyone who tries." Suddenly, loud footsteps thundered down the corridor. Shouts, clashing steel. Leopold's head snapped toward the door. "He knows I came here." The doctor shoved a small sealed scroll into Ava's hand. "This contains every record proving your identity. Guard it with your life." The door burst open. Guards flooded the room. "Seize him," snarled Hendrik from behind them, his grin sharp enough to cut bone. Olivia woke, screaming. "Leave him alone. He's helping Ava." Tears soaked her cheeks. Hendrik's smile vanished. He pointed. "And arrest that girl, too. The Duchess will never know the truth." Ava shielded Olivia in her arms, eyes blazing through tears. "If you touch her, you'll regret it." Hendrik leaned close, whispering like a viper. "You have no power." He motioned for the guards to drag Leopold away. The doctor met Ava's gaze one last time. "Find her," he urged. "Find your mother before he destroys everything." The guards reached for Ava. She grabbed Olivia and ran, torches, shouting. The palace hunts them like prey. The truth no longer slept. It roared. They are no longer safe. Absolutely. Shorter, stronger, and ending cleanly in Chapter 9. Here we go. Ava and Olivia hid in a dark storage room, breaths trembling. Olivia clung to her sleeve. "Ava, are we going to die?" "Not tonight," Ava whispered, eyes fierce. Meanwhile, Duchess Marabella stood alone in her chamber. She held a tiny silver rattle, the only memory of the daughter she was told died at birth. Tears she never allowed fell silently. Hendrik entered without knocking. "My queen, the maid and the child have turned dangerous. They must be punished." The Duchess lifted her chin. "I will decide who is dangerous in my palace." For the first time, Hendrik looked nervous. A soldier rushed in. "Your Grace, the maid carries a royal scroll." Marabella froze. A scroll? About a child? Her heart thundered a name she had buried. "Ava!" She rushed out, hope burning bright for the first time in years. End scene. Ava steps into the hallway and finds herself face to face with the Duchess. The hallway fell silent. The Duchess stared at Ava's face, the same face she had once kissed as a newborn. Tears spilled before she could stop them. "You look exactly like him." Ava held out the scroll, voice breaking. "I am your daughter." The Duchess read the documents with shaking hands. Each word shattered a lie built for 7 years. She pulled Ava into a trembling embrace. "My baby, they stole you from me." Olivia sniffled softly. The Duchess knelt to her eye level. "And you are the one who kept her safe. Thank you, brave princess." Olivia smiled through tears. Their reunion lasted seconds, because Hendrik arrived with armed guards. His voice thundered, "Step away from the impostor." The Duchess rose like a storm. "You lied. You betrayed the crown. You will answer for this." Hendrik snarled, "No, only one of us leaves alive." Swords pointed, air sharp with danger. The Duchess pushed Ava aside. Guards loyal to the Queen burst in, surrounding Hendrik. He fought wildly until they pinned him to the floor. "It should have been me in power," he screamed. The Queen walked forward, voice icy calm. "You will rot in the darkest cell and be forgotten." At sunrise, the bells of justice rang. Ava stood beside her mother on the palace balcony. Olivia held her hand, grinning with pride. The Queen's voice echoed across the kingdom. "My daughter, Princess Ava, has returned home." Cheers thundered. Flowers filled the air. Ava's heart, once empty, overflowed. She hugged Olivia tight. "No more running. We are family now." Olivia giggled. "I told you, you belong here." Ava smiled up at her mother, tears shining. A broken family healed. A stolen princess restored. A kingdom finally whole. The end. Thank you for watching this story to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to Olivia's Tales. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.